Welcome to our latest White Pod. I'm your host, Stephen Bland, with White Labs, an e-commerce internet marketing agency. I have Joe and Dustin with us today.
Thanks for having us, Stephen.
Joe, appreciate it, guys. Joe, go ahead and if you want to kind of go into an introduction about yourself and the brand, and Dustin, feel free to chime in after and kind of just give us an overview of you guys and your brand.
Yeah, of course. So I'll let Dustin do the Palm story. He's our guy for that for sure. But I myself, I am CFO, head of sales for Palm Golf Co. as well. I'm sure as we get into this, you'll understand a little bit more about the dynamic. We all do a bunch here for Palm, given that the team's still small, nimble, early stages. But yeah, largely just responsible for sales, ops, and finance currently. But again, a lot of crossover here with the team. So I'll wear a bunch of hats.
Cool. So I'll jump into the story for us. So Palm began on a golf course. One of the things we always talk about is we're playing golf, we're out there, we're having a good time. And we'll never forget, we were talking about ideas and things that we wanted to change about golf. And that's where the golf glove kind of came into play. We saw that was often like the one thing that every major golf company was neglecting, right? Like they cared more about that sixer driver or putter that you were going to purchase as opposed to the golf glove. So our whole goal was to just make golf gloves a lot more unique. And that kind of spoke to the area in which we live in. In Southern California, you have that surfing culture, the skateboarding culture, things that we love to do outside the golf course. So we really were very intentional on putting those product or making a golf glove that infused that lifestyle that we were currently living and produced something that was unique and different and something true that nobody has ever seen before.
That's awesome. So you went from a golf club and now you kind of pretty much have everything, apparel. What up? Can you guys go into more on all of your products if you can?
Yes.
Sure. Yeah, that does.
So one of the biggest things is obviously we started as a glove company. We launched a Kickstarter. That's how we learned that we actually had an opportunity to build something unique and special. And kind of from there, it kind of snowballed into headwear being our next initiative that we went into because we can't wear a golf glove to a coffee shop or, at our jobs at the time. Yeah. So basically from there, we were like, okay, well, let's start making headwear so we can talk about our brand. And from there, we started building around that brand awareness and we kind of expanded into apparel. And apparel has been one of our biggest drivers now moving forward. We took that same focus in as it relates to quality and design, and we put that all into apparel as well.
Yeah. And just to expand too, like the choice of what to go into, again, like Dustin was saying, we definitely wanted to take the same approach that we took with the glove, take nothing away from the quality, take nothing away from the performance, just add a little bit of style to it that we thought was lacking or that something we could do that'd be a little bit more unique or more, again, in that culture that we wanted to purvey with the Southern California lifestyle. And the approach was really just all self-funded, right? So we weren't able to really lean into other product categories until we saw that first success with the glove. So Kickstarter was great for us because it not just showed proof of concept, but it also gave us enough back to be able to kind of start scaling too. And we've really done that for the last 5 years. And again, we're just kind of careful with what we lean into. We have a ton of ambition of what we'd like to make next. It's always just a matter of making sure you're doing it and scaling it responsibly and then continuing to feed the things that are already doing very well.
That's great. So you guys probably know now, who's your target audience at this point besides just the average golfer?
So our primary person is 18 to 44. We know our demos of income. We know where we're targeting as far as geo. We really did a good job of pinning that down this year. One of the things that I really like about what we've been able to do is being that we kind of carved our own space here. Now, since we've been scaling, we've been able to kind of bring in outside consultants, have other people that have really been able to add a ton of value to the team because we're so small. So one of the things last year we did was got a great marketing consultant, really got into the data and then spelled that all out. And now we've not just got our target demo, but we have tertiary audiences that we were able to define. So that's really been able to dictate where we go next.
That's great. You guys are in a super crowded space. Why are you better than your competitors?
You want to go, Gus?
That's a tough question.
To really kind of add, though, to what Joe said, we obviously know our target demographic, but at the end of the day, we're targeting anybody from a country club to a muni hacker because, golf's meant to be fun. And that's kind of like what our tagline is, swing and smile. You're not that good to get that mad out on the golf course. So we're looking for the people that kind of resonate with our brand and who love the enjoyment of golf, whether it be the nature aspect, the competitive aspect, or just the sheer fun aspect of being out there with your friends. And as it relates to competition, I mean, there's competition that's out there everywhere. And I think the most important thing is that we kind of always stay true to who we are. We don't try and be anybody that we're not. We don't say, hey, we need to be some of these other brands that are out there, or we need to do it this way or that way. We kind of, we let our designs and our apparel and the way everything looks and feels define us as a brand. We are a Southern California lifestyle golf company, and that kind of resonates through all the pieces that you see, and you can wear that both on and off the course and not look too obnoxious or too loud.
Yeah. And,
No,
and
I
really,
was Go ahead. Yeah, I was talking to Joe. You guys are kind of running that fine line of modern, but not over the top. I like it. I mean, it seems I like it so far. I've seen your logo, and you know what I thought your logo was? You guys have heard of Old Palm in Florida?
yes.
I see your logo all the time, and I thought it was Old Palm because I played Old Palm. And now I'm realizing it's your logo. So I see your guys' stuff out there. It's great. So it's cool because I always assumed it was Old Palm. So there you go. I'm not even educated. So there you go.
And that's kind of the cool thing about our brand. We very, like Joe always says, we're very much a golf brand. But a lot of the stuff in the apparel that you see, it doesn't say Palm Golf or Palm Golf Company. You see these modern designs that people know it's a golf brand, or they may not. And you're a prime example where that happens all the time, but that was very intentional. We didn't want everything to be loud and obnoxious or in our face. We wanted that to look very modern and clean.
No, that's great. No, I see that. You guys are doing a great job. So I know you guys started, what are your best selling products at this point?
Yeah. So by category right now, headwear actually is our leading category on units and dollars, right? And then the glove is our keystone item. So that's also 1B, I would say. And now we've starting to see a lot more success in polos. And what's great about that is, it's early for the other apparel pieces. Last year was a very big step into apparel, much more deliberate with doing more pieces. And now we're starting to see kind of the fruits of dipping into that market as well too. It takes time, and you already referenced that there is a lot of saturation, but the consistency in the messaging and then doing the little things that gets the brand out there, it's starting to finally come to fruition now. We're starting to see more of a pickup in the apparel side as well, which is great.
That's great. That's awesome, guys. So what are some other challenges you're facing, and how are you guys overcoming, especially with the cost of inflation and everything nowadays?
Sure. I mean, looking at the business holistically, admittedly, it's not always the easiest thing to do. Again, just because we're on the smaller size as far as the team that's in the building, the optics from the outside, obviously there's, we're out there more, we're scaling. So there's always the bandwidth. It's always going to be something that you got to address as you're scaling. And we're trying to be very responsible about how we do that. And yeah, I mean, threat wise, it's just the saturation, making sure that you have your foothold, scaling responsibly. And we're sort of addressing all of that in the background. It's interesting because we sort of shot out of a rocket out of the gates, and it was oh my God, we got to just do everything to meet the fulfillment or meet the demand. And now it's been the last 2 years of great. Now we finally have a chance to look back and be what was working, what wasn't, kind of dive into each individual sections of the business and just fine tune it a bit. So that's largely what's been going on now. For this year. And then with doing that, you just can't lose sight of the things that you have to get done. You got to be ahead of, the product creation, get ready to start talking about what's the future. So this year we're playing catch up still. We're getting very close to being ahead of kind of our product planning. And that's largely Dustin's responsibility. So I'll let him chime in on some other areas.
Feel free to chime in, whatever you guys have. It's all about what you guys are doing as entrepreneurs and growing your brand. So feel free to chime in, and I got a couple more questions and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest challenge, honestly, is shutting it off, right? I think, as you have a normal job, you go there, it's 9 to 5. At 5 o'clock, most people are peace, I'm out. Yeah. For us, it never turns off, whether that be when I'm waking up at 5:30 in the morning to leave. And all my thoughts is the checklist of everything that I need to do for the day. And then, when I'm coming home and I'm playing with my son and my wife and we're having a good time, I'm thinking, okay, what are the things I need to do after my son goes to sleep? And I mean, it truly is a 24-hour, mentality that you have. So So, the highs are high and the lows are low. And sometimes you get really good nights of sleep when everything's going really well. And then other times I see text messages coming through from Joe at 2:30 in the morning. And I'm like, oh, he's up just like I am. Or the same would be with Justin, our other business partner.
That's great. I mean, great and not great. I know it's the thrills of running a business, right?
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, I could probably talk myself off a ledge on all the things that like are the threats and like the things that you gotta improve on. But on the same side of that, like there's so many things that it's tough at times as an entrepreneur. Like you actually lose track of the things that did go well because you get so hung up on dealing with what the next issue is. It's very difficult at times to just like look back and be like, wow, like we totally just oversight of the things that did go well, the things that we've been kind of addressing in the background and not realizing that the little things you're doing are actually making a massive impact long term. So like we're very much in this mode where it's like, all right, you're just constantly swinging the hammer against that big boulder and you don't know when that last swing is going to be the one that cracks it. But that's what we're doing right now. We're in that swing stage. And again, it's a very delicate balance of like, there's your checklist of things I have to do today that just have to get done. And then there's but also don't lose sight of what's coming and what you have to be prepared for as like an operator of the business versus what you got to do when you're in the business. And that's, again, like that's where there's been value in having outside consultants. Getting two investors came into Palm. One is an extension for a line of credit to help us support scale. And then the other is not just an investor, but also our chief strategy officer now too. So yeah, it's as much as I say, like we all do a million things, the balance is like, we're also finding our foothold on what we can really focus on individually and then collaborate on as a team to take it all down together.
That's great. It's great to hear, guys. Good answers here. What are you guys doing to promote the business at this point? I'm sure it's a lot.
Yeah. Traditional marketing is really the main way we've done it so far. So we've really built out a robust email list, and now we're doing a lot to kind of service that email list, not just as a one-time point of contact. We're picking up the frequency. We're also really doing a much better job of breaking down that email list and segmenting better. We built out a bunch of different flows and automations that help cater like a more dedicated communication to specific audiences. And then we have our traditional marketing. We have a digital agency that we use today. And then looking beyond that, now it's like, okay, what are the omni-channel opportunities that we've had? So when I talk about like those little swings, we're having conversations about alternative forms of media, whether it be podcasting, whether it be commercials, doing more event-based marketing. We're very much in that space right now of like, what are the other ways that we can get the name out there that are not these like traditional marketing channels. So that's pretty front and center right now.
But what's the future plan? What's it look like?
How far in the future do you want?
Let's go a year to 10 years. What's the plan? Is it? I mean, what is it? You tell me.
Yeah. So current year, it's more of the same, right? It's like we very much know what's working, what's not working, and what we have to continue to do. So for at least for 20, the roadmap's sort of laid out for us, and we're prepared to do what we got to do. Looking at 10 years down the road, we really do. We want to scale this. We want to scale this out. We want to be able to continue to operate within these four walls as long as we can. Build the audience, get more people into the top funnel, and then talk to them. And beyond that, we don't, we're open to the idea of M&A. We're open to the idea of if we can just scale it ourselves and keep it amongst us and do it long term, great. But either path, I know that we want to stay true to the brand, the messaging. We want to be consistent, and if it takes bringing on a partner to be able to do that just at a larger scale, great. If not, and we can continue to do it ourselves and do it the right way, then that's an option.
Are you guys in retail too?
We are, yeah.
So let our audience, what stores are you guys in so our audience can know?
Yeah, sure. So we're in Dick's Sporting Goods, Golf Galaxy.
Keeps disconnecting.
Shield Sports Co., Golfland up in... yeah, I can see you're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, you're all blurry, but it's fine. I can still hear you good.
Yeah. So Golfland, we are in Worldwide Golf. We are in Saks Fifth and Golfio. I don't know that I'm missing anybody for retail there. And then for this year, we've been kind of putting the head down and focusing on green grass accounts. Like being very intentional with getting into more golf courses that are in our immediate area, and then some other defined markets that we know we have success in e-com already.
Gotcha. I'm sure a big market is South Florida, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, is there anything that I didn't ask that you want our audience to know about Palm Golf? Sorry. And yourselves.
No, I mean, I feel like largely now, like I'm just kind of like a boring person, to be honest. Like I very much, like Dustin said it very well, like everything you see, we are truly, our voice is breathed into this brand on a regular basis. We are exactly what we portray to be. California is a place that I'm from the East Coast originally, right? Mm-hmm. So I can do the whole spiel. Like we all came out here at various times. We adopted this lifestyle, right? But like now this is who we are. We chose to be here, and we've very much become the epitome of the brand messaging we put out there. It's so, like that's just who we are. But go ahead, Dustin.
I mean, again, I'd just like to thank you for even just giving us the opportunity to speak, within your platform. And I mean, I think the one thing, if the listeners have made it this far, is just that at the end of the day, we started this brand with a dream. And that dream in mind was to build something that we believed in and that others would believe in. And all along the way, whether it was in the very beginning when people would say, who's going to buy a golf glove with a palm tree on it in North Dakota? And then I would turn around and say, well, there's a very cool golf course in Chicago that buys a bunch of our golf gloves with palm trees on it. And it was always just like, the palm tree, the logo, most people go on vacation, unless you're me who likes to go to the mountains to go snowboarding for vacation. You're going to paradise. You're traveling to where there are palm trees. You're getting off the plane in Florida, California, Hawaii, all over the world and seeing palm trees. And that makes you feel good and that creates that feeling. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we want to make products that we're proud of, that people can be proud of, and, build a brand with a brand identity that people, want to be a part of, because we're not some big corporation. There's less than 10 people in the building right now helping us do the day-to-day stuff. So, I mean, I appreciate it again for you having us on.
I appreciate you guys coming on, guys. Thank you so much. And thanks for coming on White Pod.
Thank you. And have a good day.
Thanks. Thank you.
Steven.